That was the chorus of Big Gay Hands, one of the singles off of Canadian queer rock shredders Partner's latest album, Never Give Up. Partner is made up of Josée Caron on guitar and vocals, Lucy Niles on bass and vocals, and Simone TB on drums. The band have been together for a number of years now. Lucy and Josée met each other at university in New Brunswick in 2014, and by 2020 the band have put out 2 full-length albums and an EP. They gained notoriety in 2018 when they won the SOCAN Signwriting Prize for their song Play the Field. Their first album, In Search of Lost Time, had a very late 90s, early 2000s rock sound to it. I would compare their old stuff to a mix of American Hifi and Wheatus. However, over the years, the band have developed a more classic rock sound, taking inspiration from Canadian greats like Rush. And you can hear this inspiration in songs like Big Gay Hands or Good Place to Hide at the time. I got to chat with the band while they were taking a break from recording in a studio in BC. We talk about the formation of the band, how Simone eventually got involved. You might not know this, but Simone is an extremely accomplished session drummer who also drums in US Girls. We also chat about the new album and the even newer material they're currently working on. Here's my chat with Partner. So won't you take those big hands in, and you're a hottie.
My name is Josée, and my role in Partner is lead guitar and vocals and writing.
My name is Lucy, and my role in Partner is lead bass, vocals, and writing.
I'm Simone TB. I play drums and do a very lot of other things.
Awesome. Cool. Well, the first question that I've been asking everyone on my podcast is how the pandemic has been going for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a huge switch up for us because we've been on the road for the past 5 years. So it's definitely a shakeup. But it's been a while since we've kind of wanted to be in one place to focus on things like writing and stuff. And so we've kind of been using our time to focus on that since we've been so busy past 5 years.
5 years or so, yeah.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
But loose ends.
Yeah, tying up loose ends.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember what you were doing when lockdown started being put into place?
Well, we were actually practicing for South by Southwest, and then we got a call that it was canceled. So we're like, "Oh, okay." And then we just went home. We were about to go on tour. So yeah.
Right. So just pretty much with everyone ready to go on tour, ready to go and do something, and everything had to stop. Where is home? So I know you're from out east originally. Is home Ontario now, or is it still?
Well, she lives in Toronto, and the two of us live in Montreal.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on. And what has been keeping you busy during all of this? How have you been staying sane?
It's a good question. I've been really busy learning how to mix and produce.
Cool.
So that's it could just seems like it could go on forever. And pretty endless. So that's been a big way I've been spending my time, and making kombucha and trying to grow weed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. How many batches of kombucha have you made?
I made one delicious batch.
One delicious batch. How many non-delicious batches?
But yeah, the SCOBY is still doing alive and well. So
cool. And then growing wheat, I guess you must be close to harvest season?
No, the harvest season didn't really happen for me.
Oh no!
I grew into just a stick and passed on.
Right on. Yeah, I was actually just helping. My buddy just started harvesting one of his 3 plants, and I don't know what he did, but it's the biggest bush I've ever seen in my life. It is ginormous. And so he asked 2 of us to come over. He's like, guys, I really need some help trimming my buds. And we're like, okay, yeah, sure. We were there for 8 hours and we didn't even finish one plant. So probably going to be going over there again this week.
It'd be more opposite.
It maybe would take 8 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I even smoke?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. trying to like steep the twig in some tea or something? Okay, cool. Well, initially, I just want to kind of do a quick history of Partner.
Sure.
So I know Partner was formed in 2014.
Yeah.
Where?
Sackville, New Brunswick.
Cool. And how did you two meet initially? Because I know Simone came in a bit later, so...
Yeah, correct. So we met at the the cafeteria, the university cafeteria.
Meal hall.
Cool. We were just like sitting at the same table, and we really had a connection. So that was pretty much where it started, I guess.
I remember Lucy decided that we would be best friends, and she was like, come over to my room and smoke a bong.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And it was just really fun.
Yeah.
Cool. And then how long until this friendship blossomed into Partner?
So like first it blossomed into like a few other bands.
Okay.
Like we used to jam the blues, and then we played in a hardcore band and some punk bands and stuff. And then
oh, cool.
After a while in 2014, we kind of just were sitting in a room, our weed room in our house, and we were really stoned, and we just kind of started coming up with this Partner stuff, and we've been doing that ever since.
But like,
cool.
Yeah, it was like after university, like I graduated, and like, and then I didn't really smoke weed like before Partner, and then like kind of starting Partner and smoking weed happened like at the same kind of time. So like there was really a lot that like came out initially.
Okay.
It was a big period in your life.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
A lot of change for the good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lucy, is it safe to say that you were the pothead and you got Josée into it?
It would be safe to say that. Yeah.
Cool.
Are you happy to have that on record?
Yeah.
Okay, so what year did you meet in the cafeteria then?
Like 2010 or 2009.
2010. Okay, so it takes a few years. Partner happens in 2014. How long until you're signed as a band?
Oh, good question. I think it was like
it was our first show, like our first real show after starting the band, which was at Sappy Fest, and there was a label, You've Changed. It's kind of like has a few other artists from Sackville on the label and has a connection, and the guy Steve was there, was one half of the label, and he was really interested in signing us because he had heard we described it as sounding like Katie Lang.
Okay.
And then on the basis of that, we shook hands, and the deal was done.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, so then you're signed, and then in 2017 we have the first full-length album come out, In Search of Lost Time. This is when I know, Simone, you were already drumming on this album.
I played on that one, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get hooked up with Partner? When did that relationship start?
Well, I met them when they were playing in their other bands, which were sick, out, I think, in Newfoundland for the first time at a festival called Vanya Vanya. And I was there playing with other people. And then I ended up a couple years later kind of serendipitously living with their bass player at the time.
Okay.
And they just cold called me. Like, we're just like, will you do this thing?
Simone's legendary in the community.
She was
for sure. You play for US Girls, right?
Lots of bands.
And lots of I know you have a big roster under your belt.
And we knew that like she was a gigging drummer, so we were like, let's call her up and see it.
Cool, and it just worked out. And then I think Everybody Knows was the first song I had heard of Partner, and it definitely became my anthem of like the winter of 2017. I just, it's so relatable. Everyone's been there where you're just too stoned to be anywhere, but it's still a good idea to go get chips at that time, and you're like freaking out.
100%. Imagine not having chips?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When I try and introduce people to Partner, and they ask me, okay, well, what does Partner sound like? At least when I'm talking about that album, I always say it's like American Hifi meets Wheatus, like if they were fronted by women. On that album, who designed the logo, the Partner logo with the the lightning bolt and the...
That was me.
Yeah, that's a very cool, like, I really like that. It reminded me of Scott Pilgrim for some reason. I just, like, saw that and I was like, oh, this is, like, very...
That's awesome. Because, like, I did use that as a reference.
No, wait. Okay, cool. Yeah, it totally came across.
Colin sent that to me.
Nice.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Okay, so that album probably released you to the world. Everyone gets to hear you. And then it's, I'm guessing there was just, like, a lot of touring, because there's a pretty big gap until the EP is released.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So is touring the main reason for that?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, we were touring. We kind of, like, it took kind of a long time to get the first record out. So we're, like, chilling for a minute or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did take a while to get it all done. Like, I think we recorded it April 2016 and it was released September 2017.
Yeah.
And then so by the time it was released and then we toured it and did the whole cycle, like it just kind of took a long time.
Right.
Yeah, and then kind of like it's always like faster than you think. Like, as soon as you've got one record out, you have to go make another one.
Right. Because you signed a contract, or is it just because you're ready to make new music?
Good question,
actually.
I think our manager says it's time to make more music,
and we're like, okay. Yeah, when our manager says, we just do it.
Okay. There is a pretty noticeable difference between the first full-length album and the EP that follows.
Yes.
Would you say that the EP was more of like a concept album?
I guess I've never exactly thought of it like that, but yeah, you could say that. Like, it was just kind of, there was like a lot of ideas that we wanted to sort of put out there. Just sort of like as a bit of a palate cleanser or something, like, so that we could kind of like move into a new like period.
Okay. What would you say this new period is, or new sound that you're finding yourselves into?
Like, it sounds a lot more classic rock kind of stuff. So I think, like, in a weird way, that EP full of different styles probably helped us move to the classic rock, right?
Yeah, like,
right. Yeah.
We were just trying to keep all the doors open for ourselves and move forward. Like, the last thing we wanted to do was just repeat what we had done with the first record, and you know, things like, it was kind of a strange time, like for the, like, just everything was kind of like feeling a bit chaotic and like not making a lot of sense, and like I think that like that kind of comes out in the music,
which is chaotic and doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah,
it was just the two of you as well.
Yeah,
so, yeah. That was like strictly the two. I have not. At this point in the timeline, I have not re-entered the picture yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like a 5-piece, but then you two did this, like 5-piece live band, but then you two did this all by yourselves, right?
Well, we had like, there was like, the guys laid down a couple tracks and stuff, but yeah, we largely, like, it wasn't really a band record. It was more of like us, like our ideas being expressed kind of record.
Like, we needed to do something, and like
there were expressions you needed to make.
There were
very different kinds of expressions.
Yeah, and like, and I think that we just had to go like a bit wild. Because like we wanted to move forward, but we didn't know what that was going to sound like, and we had all these complicated feelings and all the stuff going on that like it just kind of all came out in the music. And like when I listen to, that's what I think when I listen to Saturday the 14th.
Yeah.
Right. What kind of like what kind of feelings?
Like Tell You Off.
I guess Tell You Off would be frustration.
Just like generally, like, you know, when like you kind of like, we were moving away from Ontario and like things were kind of in flux, I guess. I would describe it as a feeling of flux and a bit of like change, which we all know like at times can feel a bit overwhelming and take some time to like get your footing again. And I think we were trying to make something happen while our like foundation was being a bit like, you know, disruptive, moving around. And
right. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I think the song I connected most with on the EP was Long and McQuaid.
Yeah.
At the time, I started a company called Sideways, and we were basically trying to create like an NPR Tiny Desk concert sort of vibe, but in Toronto. And Long and McQuaid was right around the corner, and we're like, you know, basically trying to set up a fully functional like audio studio. And we're all film kids, so we don't like, we know audio, but like not like professional at all, so we're like, oh, we need some XLRs, so we'll go to Long McQuaid. Like that song just came in the perfect time when I think I'd been to Long McQuaid like 3 or 4 times that week. It was so funny.
That's exactly what it's about.
Yeah. You're like, here I am again at Long McQuaid.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a fun song, as like most of your songs are. I've just like, it's weird just how your music has somehow found its way to me at like the perfect time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the EP comes out 2019, but you also start recording the album coming out in November.
Yeah.
At this time in the summer, right? You started recording last summer, and you're in studio now. Is this still finishing up the album, or is this like already the next?
This is a new thing, yeah.
This is the new thing?
Yeah.
Wow. Super busy.
Yeah.
It's in the process of being invented, but
Yeah.
it's
We don't even know it. We'll see. Okay.
This is still under partner though, or is this like a completely new thing? Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about the album, I guess, that we're allowed to talk about, that people know about, which is Never Give Up. So the first single that came out was Good Place to Hide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the song's about? On your Bandcamp, you do have a pretty good description, but I'd like to hear it from your side.
Yeah, so the song, it's basically about like being in the closet or whatever, like, but it's kind of about like, you know, just when you're like hot, pretending to be like someone else or whatever, and like, because you don't really have like another option.
Right, yeah.
Inspired by Rush, kind of. It's like a song about being gay.
Oh my god, that's a great descriptor of it. So yeah, this is definitely where we can hear more of the classic rock guitar riffs coming through. It's definitely, your sound has changed, almost like going back in eras anyway.
Yeah, totally.
So from the first album to this, and it's really cool. I'm really liking where stuff's going. I really like the vocal effect on that song too, like that like reverby lo-fi kind of sound going on. It's just so different, which I think I've having like now listened to the discography kind of back to back. It's interesting seeing where you started, where you went to, and now kind of like going back to your roots a little bit, which is very cool.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
It's a journey.
But in a good way, not like a, you know, not saying like you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's just more like a,
That's good.
you're just, I don't know, it's a continuous evolution happening, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Stumbling back.
Yeah.
No straight roads.
No
straight anything.
No straight roads, yeah. So then the next two singles are Hello and Welcome, which is the intro to the new album.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the music videos just because my background's in film. I love chatting music videos with bands.
Awesome.
And this one was so wonderfully weird and just so fun. How did that concept come up, and how did you get hooked up with Midnight Peacemaker?
Yeah, awesome.
So Midnight Peacemaker is our manager's husband. So
Okay.
that's the connection right there. And
But newly.
yeah, her brand new husband.
Brand new husband. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that connection came from.
But yeah, she sent over, our manager sent over his like website, and I really loved his style of drawing, and I said like, make us like Beavis and Butthead and Kiss. Prop.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, and then like I drew just like a really basic storyboard on a dry erase board and took a picture and sent it to him, and he took it and came back with that.
Really ran with it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's such a fun, yeah, I kind of got a Rick and Morty meets Beavis and Butthead vibe from it. So that's yeah, Rick and Morty just because you're out in space, I guess that's where that came from. But yeah, very, very cool. And then the next song is Rock Is My Heart, which looked like, was this shot during like lockdown? It looks like a typical like lockdown video.
Oh yeah,
but,
good eye.
What I really liked about this, it was so fun to see how your friendship comes through in that. You know, the pizza box in the way, and then all the stuff happening. It was just such a fun video, and this was also the first time that I saw Leslie Marshall's name brought up.
Yeah.
Who I've then since seen has done a butt ton of videos for you.
Oh yeah.
So who is Leslie?
Oh my god.
Who is Leslie? Great question.
Leslie is an auteur. So like we met Leslie again through a manager. We stayed at her house, and we kind of like, we really hit it off. We admired her like energy and stuff. And
she has like this like company called Maven, and she's like an all-in-one, like she does it all kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like so like films and directs and like edits and produces. But she just has like a wild vision. Like she's like one of the like people that we've met who most like our visions really go together. So like if we tell Leslie like an idea that we have, she'll be like, okay, for sure, and just like do something amazing with it usually.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
vibrating on the same kind of frequencies or something.
Cool. That's awesome. That's really great when you find that connection with someone that you can work with outside of like making music, right? Like a video person or what have you. And then then Big Gay Hands, like that whole video again was just so fun and just ridiculous, and I loved it. It was just so fun.
It was really fun to make.
Good. So what can fans expect from the new album?
I think they can expect a sick fucking rock album, honestly. A great post-classic rock album.
Cool.
And we put like our heart and soul into it.
What would be the main difference between the last full-length album and this one?
I think we're like 100% more like liberated and like confident. Like we understand like unquantifiably more about everything than we did when we made our first album.
Right.
So like, and we just like, we trust our own instincts now. Like we know that we know how we should sound and stuff. So I think all that comes through. It's like, yeah, just more cockier.
yeah, right. Good. Yeah, good for you. That's awesome. That's really great when you can find that and just kind of go in your own lane and be like, this is what we're doing now. This is it. We found our sound. That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know from the bio it said that you teamed up with Simone for this album. Does that mean that Simone, did you have more input when it came to like the creative process of the album?
Yeah, with like I'm more like I do more tone and sound and stuff like that. At that point, like they'd kind of come to me with the at least basis of like all the songs. We did blend them out a bit more, but I think fundamentally they're still it's very much the Lucy Josée energy.
Right.
Definitely, yeah, I was much more involved than last time for sure.
Okay. What would you say? How does your energy jive with their energy?
Pretty well, pretty funny. Yeah, I think we really all bring different levels to the table, like, and kind of pull ourselves all to a middle place.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm a little more like, I kind of sit back and think about things maybe a little differently. And I'm happy to come in and kind of talk how I might hear things, but generally like everything's very good and collaborative, and we all pull ourselves to a middle place that like we wouldn't necessarily have gotten to on our own volition. So, totally. It's a good harmony, and we could all have different visions, but they generally have come together pretty successfully, and it's pretty good.
That's great. It sounds like there's a lot of trust with the three of you right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You gotta love trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I also like the album title, Never Give Up, kind of goes in with like, it sounds like there was a bit of a mantra going through, like a theme going through this album, Never Give Up, like never, was this album like more difficult to make?
Honestly, this album was much easier and more enjoyable to make than our first album, I would say.
Okay.
I would echo that.
Maybe it's the reward of never give up.
It's more like we never gave up to the point that, so like we got to the point of being able to make that album, which we enjoyed making so much, by never giving up, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And also any there's always stuff that you have to push through, but like I think we really like kind of like situated what we came up with in like having pushed through a bunch of random shit.
I feel like everybody has a different level in their ability to communicate on like many different levels in our lives, like within each other, within our personal lives, and it's like you can hear that ability to communicate, and like that's something you can only get to by like working, like putting work in
and time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The album does come out November 20th. Is it scary putting an album out during a pandemic that you're not able to kind of tour with?
it's the reality that, I don't know, to me, I'm like, it's the reality that is. Like, there's no point in getting scared by it or letting it make you sad or whatever. It's just like, it is exactly how it is. There's nothing we can do about it other than wearing a mask and staying socially distant and responsible. But, you know, I don't know, I think the whole thing is like, here's a record, what better time to have something comforting to listen to than now, really.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I totally agree with that. It's just, I know that's a sentiment that a lot of artists do share, but then some, I think maybe just with this being not your first album, it's a little less scary because you've already got that fan base, so you're, you know, you're just giving the people what they want, whereas you're not trying to break through right now.
And like postponing things isn't scary, it's just necessary, you know? We'll get to play these songs, and then at that point, maybe we won't even like them. Maybe we'll have this new record that's way cooler. So
right.
You know,
Are you allowed to talk about the new record at all, or probably not?
Oh, we can talk about. We don't have a lot to say yet, I would say. Like, we don't have most of the songs really done. So
yeah.
But is this going to be another EP, or is it looking like this is going to be another full length?
This is going to be an EP. I think we can say that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. This will be.
Yeah.
Cool. What kind of like release date are we thinking? I guess that's like.
Probably next.
It's done when it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think.
This is a good use of our time if we can't go play elsewhere. So might as well
just keep creating.
Go to the same place and play.
Yeah. Keep creating.
Right on.
For sure.
And where are you right now?
We're in BC right now.
Gabriel.
BC. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What studio are you recording at?
The noise room.
The noise floor.
The noise room. The noise floor. And Josée, you said you've been getting more into mixing and producing. Are you going to have a bigger role doing that on this next EP coming out?
Yeah, I'm hoping to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you working with other artists like to kind of flex that, like train that muscle a bit, or
not yet? I've been trying to get into this like music library, like this to get my tracks on there. So I've been focusing on kind of getting it up to their kind of like standard or whatever.
Okay, like a stock music library?
Yeah, like
cool.
Like if you
a good way to make money right now.
Like, if you needed a track for your video, it would be in there. And so I'm kind of using that to like I'll bounce from there to like bring it to my own, like to bring a partner and like hopefully other artists too. Like
yeah, that's fun. Cool.
Hasn't happened yet.
But I would say, in a sense, you've always, like, even on the other two records in the EP, like, José's always played a huge part in especially mixing. And, like, a lot of time and effort, definitely, like, essentially working, like, collaboratively with, what's his name? Chris Shaw, who's mixed everything. But, like, José's, like, I don't know, I feel like you've already had a huge role in that, and then we all kind of on the last record and you on the other ones have like done the production elements.
Cool.
So I'd say that you've done a ton of it already.
Yeah, for sure. Right. And it's like it's my passion. It's my happy place. And
it's when I'm on your own.
Yeah, and I'm at my best, like making everything perfect and fun. You know, like 10 in the studio.
Yeah, for sure. And like, what better time to do it now when you have no tour to go on? Like, just like work on those skills, right? Like, just
this is like a Josée dream of sorts.
Yeah,
to be like, I can only stay home and work on perfect music. I never been good for a show over here.
Okay, so now a bit broader. Like, these are my last 4 questions. Now, what is next for Partner?
Well, definitely this EP. And like I would say every day things change and it's so hard to predict, but I know that we'll keep moving forward. So you kind of won't know what's next.
Yeah, it's right now is a time of letting go, I think, of plans and kind of just letting things come out as they come out, and like with our best feet forward, hopefully that's a beautifully creative future. But like I don't know.
Okay.
Go on planning.
Letting go on planning and focusing on the music.
Yeah.
Right. And the now, I guess.
And everything as our friendship, our dynamic, everything evolves. Like so does the music, and so it's always going to reflect that. So if we get to a stage in that, like which inevitably we will. It's sound like something.
I'm like
cool.
Exactly.
So
Okay, what or who have you been listening to the most throughout the pandemic? This could be different for each member.
Me, Miley Cyrus.
Oh, cool.
I can't lie.
The new album?
No, like I have my favorite songs.
Okay.
But like I like listening to Malibu and when she sings Jolene live.
Oh yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice pick.
Okay, I don't think that's anything to be embarrassed about, honestly.
And
I listened to the new Fiona Apple record like 1,000 times when it came.
Yes.
I haven't listened to that in a while, but that was definitely my favorite. Like everyone, like a lot of other people. But I'm trying to think of anything else. Like, yeah, nothing else as much as that at all.
Okay. What about you, Simone?
What have I been listening to? For some reason in the pandemic, I've gone back to SZA. Yeah.
Oh,
that first
cool.
record. Yeah. I
That's a
feel
good
like that's a
one.
fun one to blast because I'm like, can't go out and listen to music loud. This is good music to listen to loudly at home.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to think what has come out of the pandemic that I've enjoyed so far. All like the Eve Jarvis output's been very good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Cool. How do you go about finding new music in general?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, good question.
I feel like it usually we stumble upon it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Like the way that I listen to music is usually like one song at a time or song by song. Like we'll just really like something about it and get really into it. So when we do stumble upon something, it can like last a long time.
Yeah, like sometimes listen to the same song like over and over and over and over and over and get inspired by it. And then like eventually we find a new song.
Right, okay.
Where are you finding your new songs?
Oh God, I don't know. I haven't really been listening to that much music lately, to be honest, because I've just been listening to the news, trying to like understand what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because I'm doing the exact opposite because I'm just like, that's so much crap happening. I'm just trying to find stuff to distract myself, I think.
Also, yeah, that also is understandable for sure.
Like sometimes I check out the future hits playlist on Apple Music and like find something exciting. But honestly, usually it's just like a person brings a song into your life, or like you hear it on TV, or you like heard it at the bar you were playing at the other night or whatever, like stuff like that, like, or pretty organically. Right. Or
I guess even like if you're on tour, it's just whoever you're touring with, right? Someone you haven't heard of before, you see them perform.
Totally.
Before you know it, you've seen them 30 times and you love them.
Yeah.
That's
the perfect example.
I've seen this band more than anybody else.
Okay, so what would be, if you can remember, the latest and greatest find of like a new artist that you hadn't heard of before?
Oh, good question. New artists. I can't think of any like new artists off the top of my head that I've listened to lately.
Like a contemporary artist or like a new to you, or either?
New to you.
Okay. Like something you hadn't heard before.
Well, I mean, like for me, that happened with Joni Mitchell. Like I just took a long.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Like, and then I was like, it was like opening a treasure chest. It was like,
yeah, absolutely.
God.
Yeah, so much good shit.
And that happened. Yeah, that happened a couple of years ago. But like, I'm still kind of like, really,
what a chest.
Yeah. So that was sick.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I had that with Marvin Gaye actually. I just listened to a couple of his albums and I'm like, how have I not listened to these yet? Like, what is wrong with me? I was so mad at myself.
Every time I play that anywhere, people are like, what is this? You're like, this is a Marvin Gaye record you have to listen to. How is it?
Yes, right?
Played all the time.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much all I have. I'll let you guys get back to recording.
Well, thanks for calling.
Yes. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me. Really appreciate it. I'm so excited for the new album, and I'm so excited for the EP to come out after that. And then, of course, when you're allowed, I'm excited to see you play live again.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye.